Welcome to the virtual class. I hope all of you are fit and fine, safe and sound, hale and hearty. And let's study the next chapter, Albert Einstein at School by Patrick Pingle. But before I tell you about the story, the biography of Albert Einstein, I like to tell you why we are reading him, why he is part of our syllabus. Now, why he is such an exceptional person and why he is incredible in his work, one and unique. Now, only one. Now, he is somebody who is done research long back and is still relevant. Now, who was Albert Einstein? Einstein was he is a synonym of intelligence. Now, we associate him with the genius and brilliancy and intelligence. Albert Einstein is an anagram of 10 elite brains. Now 10, he is equivalent, the gray matter is equivalent to the 10 brains. No, that's what incredible about the Einstein. He's gifted us with wisdom along with his scientific discoveries and endeavors. How we come to know he is such a great man? Because he gave such a quotation which is so relevant even today. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. Now, making mistake is something that means you are trying hard. That means you are working towards achieving something. So, never be scared of making mistakes. That is a part and parcel of any endeavor, any work you take. Everybody is a genius. Without doubt, he says everybody has some or other brilliancy, or have some or the other kind of ability, capacity to do. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live whole life believing that it is stupid. Now, somebody has ability for doing something, somebody has ability to do something, but you cannot judge each with same kind of scale. You need to have different measuring scales for different people. So don't judge others by on a same yardstick. Einstein was a slow learner. So don't be scared if a child is learning slow or you spoke very late, because an economist, Dr. Thomas Sowell, coined the term, controversial term, Einstein syndrome. Syndrome is a collection, or it is a very many symptoms together are known as syndrome. Biology student must be knowing it better to describe exceptionally brilliant people whose speech is delayed. So the brilliant people, they speak in delayed. They have they don't learn speaking very early stages of their life. When he was just 5 years old, his father showed him a simple magnetic compass he gave when he was suffering, and he gave just to be busy during the bedridden time because he suffered from some fever. And Einstein was mesmerized by its forces. Whose forces? The magnetic compass. And he questioned himself, what force is exerted on a little needle to make it point a single direction? And that was the turning point of this brilliant scientist. Now that was the time when he thought that really I want to do something in the field of science. And he gave us another quotation: there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is miracle, everything is very clear, and other is as though everything is a miracle. So, and another miracle happened in his life. Do you know the fact that he did not win a Nobel Prize for his famous theory of relativity? You all must be knowing, EMC square, and he has not won any Nobel Prize for that, but in fact he got it for his work on photons in 1921. And unfortunately, he paid all his money, Nobel Prize money, no, it's a huge amount, for a divorce to his first wife, Mileva Marek. And he quoted, "Weak people revenge, strong people forgive, and intelligent people just ignore everything and move on their path of success." He was fond of reading and impressed by other laureate, Nobel laureate, and he was none other than our own Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Now, they both were music lovers and they were all both men of letters, because both of them believed in one thing: imagination is more important than knowledge. The critical thinking, your creative thinking, imagining thing, and that is what given more emphasis in, even while you're learning, not mugging up things, but how you think. That is what real education is. He was a great friend of Gandhi also, because no, they both believed in world peace and opposed use of atomic bomb. And what Einstein said, "I believe that Gandhi's views were the most enlightened of all political men of our time. We should strive to do things in his spirit and not to use violence in fighting for our cause." And by non-participating, important line, but by non-participating anything, you believe in evil. If you're not Gandhian, if you're not following non-violence, then you are an evil to the society. That what is clear verdict. And see why he said that, because that he said the generations to come will scare or hardly believe that such a man as ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth. Unbelievable. He said it unbelievable the personality like Gandhi existed on earth, because lean, thin, fragile person, very simple man, dressed in one cloth. And this man fought the imperialism which lasted in India for 500 years. By which weapon? Single man army. By which weapon? The weapon of non-violence. Really great father of nation. And that is why admired by everybody around the world. From an early stage, Albert Einstein loathed. What do you mean by loathed? Hated nationalism. No, don't fragment the whole country into small segments of any kind, and just considered himself, preferred to be a citizen of world rather than of any country, a citizen of world. And when he was just 16-year-old, see, he had such a wise thought when he was just 16-year-old, and he renounced means he gave up German citizenship and was officially stateless, without any state. And he was, although in the later stage of his life, he was offered presidential post of Israel, to become president of Israel. He loved music and he loved playing violin. And other than his uncombed hair, you can see in many pictures, another Einstein's peculiar habit was not to wear socks. He never wore in his life socks. Totally different looks, you can see over here, and totally different outlook. See how beautiful he said, "I would rather be an optimist and fool rather than be a pessimist and a right." Who is an optimist? Person who has positive outlook, and pessimist who has negative outlook. So he preferred to be an optimist all his life. And another quotation he gives, "The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limit and stupidity doesn't have its limit." And amazingly, at 20.75 pounds, Albert Einstein's brain weigh 10% less than average. No, although weight was less, but his gray matter, the no, substance of thinking, was 15% more, as Einstein brain had parietal lobe, no, 15% larger than average brain. The pathologist who made Einstein's body autopsy, that is postmortem, stole his brain and kept it in a jar for 20 years. You can see in the picture, he kept in the jar for 20 years before he revealed the truth. Albert Einstein's final words were in German to a non-German speaking nurse, and nobody knows what he said. But he refused surgery, saying that, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially." What do you mean prolong life artificially? On your various equipments of survival like ventilator and other equipments. He said, "I have done my share. I've discharged my duties. I've done the task I wanted to do on to serve my land, to serve this earth. It is time to go." And nobody is immortal. Everybody is going to die. And I will do it elegantly. I'm going to do it very gracefully, elegantly. And then he died the next day. And he left us at the age of 76. Now let's know what is in the story Albert Einstein at School. This story has been taken from this book that is biography of the young Einstein. His childhood story is being documented in this book by Patrick Pringle. Who is the author of this biography is Patrick Pringle. Einstein's history teacher asked him when the Persian defeated French at Waterloo War. Simple question, everybody was knowing in the class, but Einstein did not reply. He could not do it, and it irritated his teacher, and she complained about him. Einstein admitted frankly that he was not interested in learning dates, because finally he gave to the world that education is not about learning facts. Way back you can get it from the book, you can Google it nowadays. But training your mind to think, do you know, thinking is very important ingredient of your whole personality. If you think, imagine, and that is what makes you a complete person. He attached more importance to ideas than the facts and dates. Ideas are more important, thinking is more important, imagination is more important. That makes you inventor, that makes you writer, that makes you a great man on this earth, and that is more valuable than mugging up those facts and figures. One could learn about them from the books. The facts and figures can be learned from anywhere, but thinking makes you unique. Now there he makes it very clear in this statement, a fool can know. Knowing is not a wonder, but the point is to understand. So we know now thinking, ideas, imagination, and understanding. The next point he gives, to understand things is vital rather than to just to know anything. The teacher got angry and he declared that Einstein was a disgrace to the school. He is disgrace to the school. Okay, and Einstein was not interested in going to school at all, nor the teacher wanted. Even his idea was going to school was not good. He was not good at learning things by heart. He never used to retain anything. As you know, he loved music and reading books, but he was not interested in the books prescribed in the syllabus. Now, As usual, all the students don't like the books prescribed in the syllabus. They love reading the novels and other books, newspapers. Einstein devised. No, devised means he created a plan. He thought of a plan to get rid of his school, to finally to and Yuri and requested and requested Yuri to get him a certificate from a doctor showing that he had a nervous breakdown. Nervous breakdown is losing your control over your body through your nervous system, and that makes you hysterical, anxious, feeling low. And Dr. Ernest they approached and issued him a certificate free of charges, as Einstein was really nervous, and he was really nervous to go from the school. And Einstein told Dr. Ernest about his plan to get admission in an Italian college at Milan. Milan is a place and there you have Italian college in Italy. And Yuri advised Einstein to get a reference in writing from his mathematics teacher. And he loved his mathematics teacher, and he loved solving the problems of physics and mathematics. And so he was one of those favorite teacher. And teacher issued a reference letter as Einstein wanted. And he wrote that Einstein knew so much that he could not teach him anymore. He wrote very, very diplomatic sentence that he knew so much that he could not teach him anything more. But on the other hand, he was summoned by head teacher. And who is a head teacher principal? He told Einstein that he wanted him to leave the school. And he gave a termination letter that you should leave the school. Which reason he gave? The head teacher told him that his presence in the class made impossible for the teachers to teach other students. Now he used to disturb, and now it was impossible for other teachers, taking the different meaning of the what mathematics teacher gave a letter, that is impossible for teaching other students in the classroom. Albert Einstein wanted to answer back, but he restrained himself. He refrained himself from answering back. He was quite submissive there, and he showed a gesture. He asked to shut the door, but after leaving, but he didn't obey. And Einstein expressed his dislike by ignoring his orders, and he did not give a second look to the place and left it forever. That's all in the story. I hope you have learned many things about this genius. He is a great man, and that is why we are studying him in our syllabus. And we are learning from his life. We learn from the life of the great people. And that is what we have done in this story also. Okay, keep watching the videos.